Okay, Chris Squire interview coming up. 1 minute, we got it. Hello, Chris.
Yeah.
Ray Shasho with the Examiner and CBS. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, are you on the West Coast?
Right now I'm in Kona, in Hawaii.
Oh, you're in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did an interview with Todd Rundgren from Hawaii. He was in, I think he was in Kauai.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. How's the weather?
I think it's just what it always is, 85, sunny, and gorgeous.
That sounds like where I'm at. I'm in Florida. And I think the weather's probably a little similar.
It's similar, but I think the thing about here is that it's like this every day of the year. But
yeah, that's
which must be weird to live here and never really have a season, but yeah.
Now, are you living there now? Are you living in the city?
Oh, no. We just did a Pacific Rim tour of New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Jakarta, and we, on our way back from there, we did 2 shows in Honolulu and Maui, and so I, thought, well, it's obviously the perfect time to stay on and grab a little R&R at the end of that tour.
There you go.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got another. I guess the tour. I thought the tour kicked off. Was it July 13th? The other tour, right? Of the States.
The summer US tour. For
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere. I think it's maybe a little early. I don't know if they added a couple more shows at the beginning yet, but they were talking about it. But something like that, yeah.
Well, we're not only promoting Squackett, and I am pronouncing that right. Is that right?
You are pronouncing it perfectly right, yeah.
But we're also promoting, yes, we'll be at Ruth Eckerd Hall in Clearwater, Florida on July 29th.
Okay.
So, with Procol Harum. So, we got 2 things going on here today. I do want to say my 2 favorite albums of all time are Fish Out of Water and Trick of the Tail. So it's going to take an act of God for me not to like the new album.
Have they sent you a copy of it yet?
I have a copy. I got it from the Chipster PR.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is it with a sleeve and everything, or just
no sleeve? It tells me all the titles. There's no lyrics and no
lyrics, no credits, nothing like that, right?
No album cover design or anything like that, which I'm really missing because you guys always have the best designs ever, So
yeah, actually, the Squackett album cover is really strong. I think you'll like it. I hope they end up sending you a proper copy once it's available.
Well, I'll make sure I get one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Good.
The album.
You like it?
I love it. I really do, Chris. And I am so happy because there's so many legendary artists today that are re-releasing new material. Progressive rock guys. And I love progressive rock. That's my thing,
Right.
So I'm ecstatic. Wishbone Ash just came out with Elegant Stealth. I just talked to Andy Powell the other day. Very good album, very strong. I talked to Billy Sherwood, your buddy, who of course Circa is a great band.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff out there now. But I really, really enjoy this collaboration with you and Steve.
Yeah, thanks very much.
It seems to me that you guys had a chance to really spread your wings on this one too, so to do something a little bit different.
The thing is about this project, it was really just two guys getting together.
Right.
And you know, there was no pressure that we had to make an album for a label or anything like that. It was just the two of us getting together, and in collaboration, of course, with Roger King,
right,
who was also part of the project. He's been Steve's long-time keyboard player and sort of co-producer, co-writer, if you like, on various projects of Steve's. So he's involved in this as well, and you know, and he's done a great job with the sound and the mixing of everything. So you know, I can't tell you how happy I am with the way, you know, the whole project turned out.
Well, I think everybody's going to love it once they hear it. I know the press is already loving it. So yeah. Now, who played drums on the album?
Jeremy Stacy. Now I've done 3 albums with him now, albums, and he's a friend of mine. Lives in London. He spent the last 5 or 6 years playing with Sheryl Crow.
Oh, okay.
Way below his ability. You know, but I mean, but that's what she does. I mean, God bless her. That's the kind of music she plays. But so he's played with her, and he's played with Tom Jones. He was on the Letterman show with Tom Jones on a very memorable performance that he did. And currently he's playing with Noel Gallagher from Oasis, who's I believe has solo projects out there. So Jeremy is he's always very busy. He's very sought after as a drummer, and you know, hopefully he'll be able to come and play with Squackett when we eventually do, you know, get some live stuff scheduled.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah, he was very strong on the album. Very. He's a
great player.
At times, I almost said, "Is that Alan?" You know.
No, it's not. It's Jeremy. Yeah.
Yeah, very accomplished.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick a couple of songs from the CD, "A Life Within a Day," which is a very powerful prog rock tune. In a way, it's kind of a prog rock version of "Kashmir" from Zeppelin, and you know.
It does have that element. It wasn't written intentionally with that in mind.
Right.
But you know, but obviously, when we were putting it together, I saw that it had that element in it, and of course, I've always loved Kashmir, so I don't have a problem with that. But and then, you know, and also, if we're talking about Zepp for a second, the Storm Chaser track, which is one of the later tracks on the album, has a Zepp element to it as well. So there is some of that in there, some of that hard rock kind of style.
Oh, it's great, and it's got I kind of a hint of Arabic overtones, because my family, my father's family, was from Syria. And I kind of grew up in an eclectic household. With my mom was Cuban, my dad Syrian, so I had Arabic music, Celia Cruz, and rock and roll in my house. So, you know, I can I picked out a little bit of Arabic overtones in that tune as well, which I love.
Yeah, cool, I'm glad.
You had there's a sound in that kind of sounds like a race car. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a race car revving up. Was that was that the guitar, or was that?
That's guitar.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Steve with the whammy bar.
That was
right?
that was very cool.
Yeah.
And of course, your playing is awesome as usual.
Thank you.
And the you know, I really heard the harmonies sounding very different, you know, and I think you mentioned this in an interview, kind of like Crosby and Nash.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that element to it. In fact, you know, it was one of the bonuses from this project was when, you know, Steve and I started singing together, and we both realized how good our voices sounded together. And I have to be honest, going into this project at the beginning, I didn't really even know that Steve sang at all.
I didn't either.
So
yeah.
That was a big plus for me.
He sounds great, you know?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Well, what sounds really good, and what we both agreed sounded really good, is when we actually sing quite a lot of the lines in unison. A lot of the lead vocal is both of us singing.
Right.
And here and there, you know, we split it up a bit. But a lot of the time, you know, when we're singing together, it makes a really good noise.
I think the Summer Backwards, that harmonize, you know, both of you guys together on that is awesome. It's, you know, I really noticed that that blend that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
It's very cool.
So I'm really happy. I mean, I don't need to sound boastful, but you know, I'm really happy the way that turned out. And you know, once again, I'll have to say, you know, thank you to Roger King because of the way, you know, he mixed it and the echoes he used, etc. You know, it's really good.
Yeah, it's very well produced.
Yeah, very well produced.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's on Divided Shelf at the end of the tune. It's a weird sounding. It kind of sounds like an old time song or a wartime melody.
Yeah, it does. It's like an old movie thing or something.
How'd you implement that?
Once again, that's Roger's contribution.
Okay.
To the record. So
right.
You know, he's quite an expert with keyboards, and so you know, and he threw that little bit in.
That is.
I can't take credit for that. It's his.
That's a really cool effect. I've never heard that before. You know.
No, that sounds great. Yeah.
And Aliens, what was the origin behind that song? What inspired the lyrics from that? I guess you're saying, do you believe we've been visited by aliens? Are on the Earth from the future, or something like that, right?
Aliens are only us from the future.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's something I've thought for a long time, because if you consider that the human race is going to probably go on and progress, you know, through this century and you know, and the next one, it wouldn't surprise me at all if in the future, when we're not eating steak dinners anymore, that we look probably like the idea of what aliens are,
right?
And you know, and that of course by then we will have developed time travel.
Sure.
See.
Yep.
You know, otherwise I mean, look how far the human race has come in terms of you know, air and space travel in the last 100 years. So you know, in the next couple of thousand years, you know, you've got to believe that we're going to be able to do all kinds of amazing.
Oh yeah. Now, do you believe that we've already been visited by alien life?
Well, I believe that the aliens are us from the future.
Okay.
And that really, that's the whole point of that song.
Right.
And that really the aliens and the spaceships are us doing a kind of a educational class. So, well, today we're going to go back to, you know, it's 2012 and look at how people were living then.
Exactly.
Thing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what it seems to me to be a very plausible reason that explains a lot of phenomena, as opposed to little green men with one eye from outer space, you know, from another planet. That seems less plausible than the fact that aliens are probably us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll be honest with you, Chris. When, you know, all through high school, you know, I was a huge fan of Yes. I saw you guys 5-6 times in concert, and I even had this discussion with Jon Anderson. I really thought you guys were from another planet.
Well, in his case, you have a good excuse.
I want to say Jon said all good things about you guys when I interviewed him. You know, because I did ask him about, you know, how he was not in the band anymore and things like that, and he said all great things about you guys. So
when was that? How long ago was that?
It wasn't that long ago. It was probably I don't know, maybe 5 months ago, 4.5 months ago, 5 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Right before he hit the road again. You know.
that's nice to hear. I'm glad that that's his attitude.
You know, I'm really heartbroken when that happened. You know, I got to tell you.
Well, no, I mean, unfortunately, you know, John had some medical problems, and he really couldn't really commit to be able to doing, you know, that kind of level of touring anymore.
Right.
And so, you know, it's just, it's a shame.
It's a shame,
You know, but the rest of us wanted to carry on, and you know, so, you know, we had to make the adjustments. But I guess, you know, yes, to me now is evolving into it's like a sports team,
right,
or an orchestra, right. And it's not beyond my the possibility that there could still be a yes in 200 years' time, but just with obviously different members.
Sure.
Unless the medical profession come up with something extraordinary. So, do you see what I'm saying? There could be a yes in 100 or 200 years' time, and you know, and then it becomes more like an idea, like a symphony orchestra, you know. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, that's the only way you're going to be able to carry on the legacy, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Jon Anderson not too long ago as well, and he was saying, you know, essentially we're just a bunch of different people in the bands all these years anyway, you know, so because he's not calling himself Jethro Tull on this Tab 2 tour, you know, he's just, you know, now he's just billed as Jon Anderson, so
right.
Yeah,
right.
So it's, you know, essentially the same thing. He's got a lot of different players, and but you know, if he goes, that's the band in my opinion. I don't know how you're going to replace him. You know.
Oh well, yeah, exactly. Well, well, you know, everyone's really replaceable at the end of the day, I think. You know, I mean, our new singer, John Davison, has turned out to be really, really good. We've done this tour of, you know, the Pacific Rim with him, and he did really, really well. So
I haven't had a chance to hear him yet.
There's some YouTube stuff there if you want to check it out.
Yep.
From that tour, so. He's real good.
Definitely. Well, back to the album real quick. The Storm Chaser, like you said, that is another awesome tune. To me, that sounds like a soundtrack for a movie. You know, it really does.
Let's hope someone in the movie business thinks so.
Well, I'll hint around. I got some connections in Hollywood. I'll
you work it.
And I'm looking at my notes here. I mentioned my favorite tune is on the CD is "Can't Stop the Rain." That's my favorite tune. It's very powerful.
Now I brought that tune to the project.
Well, see, it reminded me of "Fish Out of Water." That's another reason. It's got the little hints.
It's a little bit like that.
Sure.
And also it's got a sort of a 60s flavor, I have to say.
Yep.
Almost like a Burt Bacharach kind of tune.
It sure does.
You know, of all those great songs he wrote for, you know, Dionne Warwick and artists like that in the 60s. And so, you know, I'm really glad, really happy the way that turned out, that track.
Then it fades into the Perfect Love Song, which, you know, it's a perfect, you know, conclusion to a fantastic CD. It really is.
Yeah, I think we got the order of the songs really right on the album, and you know, it's turned out great.
I gotta talk.
I tell you what, you know, because my wife is supposed to be on vacation. My little girl. Can we just maybe have a couple more questions and wind it up?
Yeah, no problem. I knew I only had like maybe 30 minutes anyway, so no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
The wife comes first.
Well, I've already been on the phone for the last hour and a half. So
Fish Out of Water. I have to tell you, Chris, that was a masterpiece. Okay, and I was a little surprised there wasn't an immediate solo follow-up to that. Is that pretty much because you were?
Here's the deal with that.
Okay.
A lot of the reason of why that album has such a great vibe about it, and I'm not boasting because it's my album, but was also because of the involvement of my lifelong friend Andrew Jackman, who did all the orchestral arrangement,
right,
and worked with me a lot on during the preparing the album, writing it.
okay,
And so unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He unfortunately had a brain aneurysm.
That's a shame.
And died instantly, and that was a real shame.
Yeah.
So but that didn't really, hasn't stopped me over the years from wanting to do a follow-up to it. What seems to have happened is every time I've sat down and been disciplined with myself and written new material that I'm thinking is going to go in that direction,
right,
and then something else has come up, like the Squackett project.
Exactly.
The songs on that album were designated for a solo album for me. But then, as soon as I got involved with Steve and realized how exciting it was, I turned over the best material that I had at the time for that. And also, when we do a Yes album, I put stuff into the Yes album.
Sure.
That, I think when I'm writing it in the first place, it's going to be for a follow-up to Fish Out of Water. So it may be destined that there never will be a follow-up to Fish Out of Water. But never say never. We'll see what happens. But I do want to say that Andrew Jackman and his arrangements had a lot to do with the feeling of that album.
Well, speaking of never say never, does that mean will Jon Anderson never return to the band, or is that, what do you think?
Well, once again, I don't close the door on that possibility.
Yeah.
It's just how that will happen. There's been talk of, yes, possibly doing something on Broadway in New York.
Wow.
The history of Yes or something like that.
Yeah.
People have approached me with that idea, and there are discussions about that. And so possibly in a project like that, yes, you might see John re-involved. As you would other ex-members of Yes. But once again, there's nothing concrete about that yet. And now that we have John Davison on board, and please go check him out. I think I will. Like him. Now I'm thinking that our next project will probably be making a new studio album with him.
Okay.
So, but we won't close the door on other possibilities in the future, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe Relayer 2.
Relayer 2, yeah.
That's another masterpiece. And I think that came out about the same year as Fish Out of Water, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And in fact, they were both recorded in my studio in the countryside in Surrey, in England.
That was a good year.
Those albums. So.
Okay, last comment. I know you have to go. Scott Shore in New Zealand. You know him. He owns a studio over there. I think you just saw him recently. I do keep in contact with him from time to time. He set me up with Tony Levin. He just wanted to know if you listened to the Levin Torn White CD yet.
Tell him I definitely will get round to it.
Okay.
Because I promised him I would. Okay, but I haven't yet.
Okay, I'll email him today. Let him know. You're on it.
Tell him I will do it, though. It's sitting right here in my bag.
Okay.
So I know where it is and everything.
Chris, thank you.
I'll give it a listen.
Thank you so much for being with me today, and more importantly, thank you so much for all the great music throughout the years.
Okay, I've got another call coming in, so I'm going to go. All right.
All right, Chris. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice guy.